Last time we checked in with WCW in 1997, the show was actually pretty good. Can WCW make it 2 on the trot? Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this, your second instalment of 97th Heaven for August 97, Road Wild 1997. Oh yes, I think this is the second one of these I've done. I think I reviewed Road Wild 99. If it was the show I think it was Macho Man versus Dennis Rodman that ended up in a toilet. That was fun. Anyway, so this, last time like I say, Bash at the Beach, 6.5 out of 10. Don't know why I gave it that. If you look at the star rating, it's like, I didn't deserve that at all, does it? It's probably close to a 5.5, but man, we'll let it that one go. So, Hog Wild it was in 1996, featuring Benoit versus Malenko in a great match. Harley Davidson got in touch and said, no, not calling it Hog, because that's our name. Why is it called Hog Wild / Road Wild? Well, if you don't know, this show took place at the Sturgis motorcycle rally in Sturgis. Amazingly, Sturgis is in South Dakota, if I remember right. It's interesting, isn't it, that I can tell you that just off the top of my head that it's in South Dakota. You know, I know watch the show. Ask an American what county I was born in, and you wouldn't get no one. Anyway, that's irrelevant. Anyway, yeah. Goes like this. Bischoff and a few of the other talents like DDP and the Steiner brothers are massive biker fans. So what they figured is why not we get on our bikes and we ride to this show, put on a show on the last night of the festival. This festival routinely draws 500,000 people. And there's one problem, they can't charge to get in, so it draws its infamous $0 gate. No one pays to get in. According to Shivani, people have been queuing up round ringside with their motorbikes so they can get a decency. I don't believe that for a second. Not queuing, camping up, sorry. Yeah, the deal is here is that you don't pay to get in, and your bike, if you're here with your bike, you can park your bike up next to the ring, and if you like something, you're encouraged to rev your engine, which gets very irritating very, very quickly, to be honest. Do you know something? I'm just going off a little bit off topic here, but that Road Wild that I mentioned a moment ago with Rodman and Savage, that's the only thing I can remember of that whole pay-per-view. What does that say? Anyway, one of the things I haven't mentioned in this whole series, I don't think, at least since I started redoing them, was that, well, Nitro is kicking the shit out of Raw in the ratings every week. I mean, I know the Raw before this show was a special exception, right? It was the 100th episode of Nitro. I know that's the thingy, but I mean, look at the numbers. That episode did a 4.4, right? Raw that night did a 2.7. You know, there was a lot of people watching wrestling at this time. The 100th episode of Nitro, of course, saw Lex Luger defeat Hulk Hogan for the WCW Championship. Hooray! How's that one sound? I don't understand why they would have a World Championship match 5 days, because this took place on a Saturday night, don't forget. I don't know why they would do a championship defense 5 days before a pay-per-view. But hey, I didn't run WCW. You know, hey, what can I say? There was something else I wanted to mention as well, but I can't remember what it was. So let's get on with this. So, in the opening contest, Harlem Heat defeating Vicious and Delicious. Who the fuck are Vicious and Delicious? I can actually hear you saying Vicious and Delicious are Marcus Alexander Bagwell, or Buff Bagwell, and Scott Norton. This was a meh opener. Harlem Heat say they've got a surprise for us. We truly cannot wait to find out what that is. As they weren't on the last pay-per-view at Great American Bash, I should mention that Harlem Heat fired Sister Sherry on the 7th of July episode of Nitro. Sherry left WCW. Basically never worked on the big stage again, apart from for 2 little exceptions. I'm sure you remember one of them, which was Sexy Kurt. She came back during when Shawn Michaels was feuding with Kurt Angle, did a remake of Shawn Michaels' theme tune. Hilarious. Still remember it to this day. I'm just a sexy Kurt, I'll make your ankle hurt. I'm sure. Really though. Wouldn't joke. What, go on, have a guess, place your bets. Banzai, what do you think it is? I don't know, I can't see it. There's a canal boat going past at a fair rate a lot, but everything. So yeah, she also turned up in 2006, I think it was, in TNA, offering her managerial services to Bobby Roode, which is lovely. So this is a interesting match, this one, because even though the members of Vicious and Delicious are part of the NWO, well, they wrestle as baby faces, which is very, very strange. Harlem Heat wrestle as the heels here. They do quick tags, they isolate Bagwell, yada, yada, yada. And it's very, very strange. Very, very weird and confusing. Basically, the other thing I need to mention up that I should have mentioned at the top of the card is tonight is WCW versus the NWO. And the guy, WCW guys, Tony Schiavone, genuinely believes that this is the night that we destroy WCW forever. Alright? Just bear that in mind. So, the big surprise that Harlem Heat promised us at the start is Jackie, and she comes out to the ring and a couple of bikers rev their engine for the first time this whole show. Fuck revving my engine for Bagwell, that's just stupid, isn't it? Hot tag to Norton, no reaction at all, nothing, not even from the bikers. He kind of looks like Steiner. One of the Steiner brothers, Norton does anyway. Vincent, who came out with Vicious and Delicious, attacks Booker on the outside while the referee is looking over the ropes. Nothing at all for Vincent. Anyway, a Harlem sidekick gets the win to end a very confusing match and make us go WCW 1, NWO 0, and I gave this one 1 star because it's weird because as a match it was actually alright. It's just it was very confusing. As an actual tag match, it would have worked great, but only if Harlem Heat were the heels and Vicious and Delicious were the baby faces, which doesn't make sense. Steiner brothers have got a new manager. Here's Ted DiBiase. He's talking to some guy on WCW.com. Our second match of the night. Conan defeating Rey Mysterio in an okay Mexican death match. Oh yes, a Mexican death match. Rey Mysterio has an injured leg, so naturally Conan works on the leg. That's all good, and I'm not going to knock psychology, I never will. But in a deathmatch environment, you're working a guy's leg, get a bin and whack him around the fucking head. Don't fucking, I'm going to put an ankle lock on, ooh, that'll make him hurt. Anyway, it's good selling, good storytelling, good psychology, good selling from Ray. He, for example, he does a leapfrog when he lands on the leg and crumples. But there's one problem, of course, crowd don't give a shit in the slightest. But then they do, they care, they rev their engines. You know what they're revving their engines at? Conan takes Rey Mysterio's mask off. Ray gets the mask back and puts it back on immediately. You don't see anything, but the bikers really like that. Oh God. Ray just gets bad. He sells his leg though, and it's quite virtue. He climbs to the top at one point slowly, selling leg. He gets caught by Conan as he comes down. Conan hits a really nice cradle DDT actually, and then locks on the Tequila Sunrise for the win. Now, like I say, I'm never going to knock bad storytelling or storytelling in a match. Genuinely not. I don't get this one. Because, on the one hand, right, Rey Mysterio is a high flyer. Take his legs out from underneath him, and he can't do all the high flying moves. That makes sense, but this is billed as a Mexican death match. A Mexican death match that's a grudge match. It's a Mexican grudge death match. Yeah, they don't do anything hardcore. There's no, I fucking hate you, I'm gonna kick your ass. Anything like that. It's just presented as a standard match, so why call it a death match? It's a good match. Well, it's a 1.5 match, so that's what I say. Crowd didn't care though. I've got no time for Conan. I won't ever give him a time of day. WCW 1, NWO, because of course Conan is an NWO member. It's 1-1. Mean Gene shows us his new tattoo. He says he can't. Really though? Yeah, I'll ignore it. He says he can't remember how he got there, how he got it, and then he shills the hotline something fierce. Now, this is something I'm genuinely like to know. Please will you put down in the comments for me, folks, did you ever call the WCW hotline or the WWF Superstars line? I know I didn't. If I had have called one of these lines, my mum would have literally pulled my face off because they're so expensive. I mean, I think they were at least £1 a minute, if not more. And it's just making right. The thing is, right, these lines were going for years, weren't they? Years and years and years and years. And you think to yourself, well, some fuckers calling them, aren't they? How? In the days before the internet, I'm sure getting the hot scoop. For example, Mean Gene says he knows who Raven's first WCW opponent will be. Right now, this is on a Saturday night. Can you just not wait 2 whole days to find out on Nitro? who he's going to be facing? Or is that just me? Is that because I've got a bit of financial sense these days? It's just going to go, well, balls to ever ring anything like that. Anyway, Mongo and Chris Benoit defeating Jeff Jarrett and Dean Malenko in a weak elimination tag team match. Now, I've got written on my notes, it just screams shenanigans. When do you ever see a tag team elimination match? When do you ever see elimination rules in a tag team match? It just screams at you, something's going to go down here, just so you know in advance. You know, you wouldn't just book, right, we're going to have an elimination tag team match. Why? Well, because we're going to do something different. No, we'll just have a normal match. No, this one is elimination. So, Jeff Jarrett, of course, defeated Mongo last time out when Deborah turned heel on her husband. And it goes like this. The Horsemen slowly work over Malenko. Nothing wrong with that other than the obvious lack of noise, you know, from the crowd. Mongo hit a nice cycle slam. It's a nice, sweet power slam as well. Then Jeff Jarrett comes in and he gets the bikers to rev for a bit when he hits a jawbreaker on Mongo. But this is a crazy thing. He then, he hits the jawbreaker as he goes down. He pulls Mongo on top of him and basically half Nelsons him so that Mongo is on top of Jeff Jarrett. And he's counted 1, 2, 3 and is eliminated. That way, Mongo and Benoit are able to absolutely batter Malenko. Happy days. It's all right, I suppose. I mean, it's suppose, but it's just it's the elimination rules. It's the look, we're gonna put this stipulation on. Shenanigans are gonna happen. Just expect them. All right. I mean, Malenko fights valiantly. Of course he does. But he takes 2 tombstone power drivers as a diving head. One off Benoit. One off that guy. Mongo, forgot already. That's how relevant he is. 2 tombstones, diving headbutt, 1, 2, 3. I suppose this storyline will continue between Malenko and Jeff Jarrett. That's one of the things about not watching Nitro. No idea why these guys are feuding. No video package. It's just here's your match. So we see some wrestlers riding their motorbikes to the show, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is why I bought this pay-per-view, so I could see that. Alex Wright then defeated Chris Jericho in a boring as sin match. Well, it wasn't boring as sin, but it was just. He retained the Cruiserweight Championship. Wright defeated Jericho on the 28th of July episode of Nitro to win the Cruiserweight Championship. So, again, crowd aren't interested in this. Mat wrestling in this. Mat wrestling that doesn't actually go anywhere. So it's utterly pointless. Wright is launched off the top, for example, with Chris Jericho, and the amount of hang time he gets is absolutely freaking ridiculous. The thing about this match is, what I'll say here is this match is 13 minutes long, yeah. And to me, it's a 5-minute match, if that, stretched to a 13-minute match. Wright misses a pretty good looking moonsault. Wright reverses a roll-up with a big old handful of tights to get the win. One thing I will say here, and of course the benefit of hindsight is a wonderful, wonderful thing there, but oh my god, Chris Jericho is boring as a baby. He's just a bland babyface doing absolutely nothing. That heel turn, that of course we all know is coming, and we'll make sure that 98 Chris Jericho is going to be absolutely fantastic. But he can't come soon enough. He is so dull. But wait, don't worry. Not even 2 weeks after this, he won the belt back, the Cruiserweight belt back. And this was Alex Wright's only Cruiserweight Championship win. Reign, even, sorry. 1 star. Oh, yes. Can I just point out, while we're here, that's the 4th match on this show, and Conan versus Rey Mysterio at 1.5 stars is your best match so far. This is the thing about this show. There's nothing, apart from the main event, that's particularly offensive. There's only the one dud on this show, and spoiler horror, sorry here, but that's the main event. Yeah, think about it. Yeah, but all the matches are rubbish, but they're not offensive rubbish. It's not like WCW 2000 where you've got a fucking 9-card show and 8 of them are duds. You know, the worst one, there's one dud. I think there's a 1/2 star in there, and most of them are hovering around 1.5 stars. And you just sat there going, this is so boring. It's just a boring show. You just sat there watching wrestling going, I should type some notes, but nothing's happened at all. Anyway, Ric Flair defeating Syxx in a boring match. The WWF may have the governor of New Jersey, Kristen Todd Whitman, last week at SummerSlam. Oh yeah, we have. But, because this is a week after SummerSlam, fuck them. We've got the mayor of Sturgis, a guy called Clifford Lynn. Oh yeah, fucking suck it, WWF. How's that one sound? Ric Flair is making his way to the ring. Heenan notes that Flair is a 13-time champion, and he reckons that no one will ever touch that. So Cena and Orton are working on it there, Bobby. Yeah, trust me on that one. Syxx controls to silence. Even a Bronco Buster doesn't get any reaction at all. Flair comes back with the shin breaker, puts on the figure 4. That gets a little bit of reaction. Sin, why not, escapes and goes for a second Bronco Buster. In the best part of this match, honestly, the best spot is the finish. As he goes for the Bronco Buster again, and Flair does what anyone would do if there's a guy charging at your bollock first. Just puts one of his field. So it goes, and it's like, oh, priceless. See an X-Pac getting kicked in the bollocks. Let's rewind that one 4 times. Bam! And it's like, yes! So it comes bouncing in. Bam! Like, oh! Love it. Bam! Like, do it again in slow motion. Ooh, bollocks! Funny fucking stuff. Yeah, roll-up gets the win for Flair. You can do things like low blows in WCW. Referee's not going to disqualify you, is he? Why would he? Simple roll-up gets the win, like I say. Boring match, nothing to it. WCW 2, NWO 1. Hooray. And then, an alright match. I say alright, 2 stars. Oh, yes. Curt Henning defeating DDP in a alright match. I'm sure you remember last time out. Henning attacked DDP. Henning was DDP's mystery tag team partner and then turned on him for a bullshit reason. Absolutely utterly shit. On paper, good match, though. Henning works the left leg, as I noticed there's some big-ass black clouds overhead. This is an outdoor arena at the end of the day. Big-ass black clouds are appearing overhead. Bikers rev a lot in this one, believe it or not, especially when Paige hits a spinning lariat, the place goes nuts. Ring, shut up. I love motorbikes. My dad's got 2 Harley Davidsons, don't get me wrong, I love motorbikes. One of these days, when I'm mature, I will have a motorbike. Until the day I become a mature adult, fuck that, I will go tearing into a fucking wall at 120 miles an hour. Yeah! But yeah, motorbike engines I love them, yeah, but after a while, this constant revving gets really, really tiresome. It's just like, will you do something else? Anyway, ref gets bumped. Henning takes the turnbuckle pad off. Paige's head rammed into it. Perfect plex, or the Henning plex, I suppose it should be now. Only gets 2. Paige comes back, bouncing Henning off the turnbuckle. Goes for a pile driver, and one of Henning's feet hits the ref. So we get a second referee bump. Cover, no referee. Out comes Ric Flair. He hits the diamond cutter, but that allows Henning to hit a perfect plex. Sorry, Henning plex. That got to get the win. Best match of the night so far, 2 stars. Oh yes, it's that good. 2 whole stars. I mean, for example, no psychology at all. I mean, there's a bit of leg working by Henning at the start, but psychology, you know me. Psychology, and a match with no psychology, it bothers me, yeah? A match with psychology doesn't go anywhere. I mean, for a perfect plex, what's the point in working the leg? What's it going to do? Nothing. I mean, the perfect plex, you land on your back, so work the back. The Giant defeated Randy Savage in a meh match. Giant has no entrance music, so it's quite awkward when he's walking out down that ramp and all these bikers revving their engines and looking intimidating, and Big Show's like, I'm sorry, the Giant's like, oh, sort of thing. Anyway, there isn't really a lot to this one. Giant controls for a while, including a great bit where he's chasing Savage around the ring post, and Savage puts Liz in the way, so he picks her up, like really picks her up, puts her down, carries on chasing Savage. Savage comes back, he clips the leg, he works the leg. Working the leg, I suppose, makes sense, because if he's working the leg, he can't do the choke slam because he can't lift him up. Randy Savage hits a cross body, and then when he goes to do an axe handle off the top, Giant catches him, choke slam 1, 2, 3. And you're just like, oh, that's short. So that's a half-star match. There's nothing really to it. It's NWO 1, WCW 3 as a result of this match. Like I say, it's short, it's unoffensive, but there's no substance. You might rate this one higher. I'm sure other people have. Half a star from me. And then, in the match that I'm sure everyone was looking forward to, the Steiners defeating the Outsiders via disqualification, meaning the Outsiders retain the WCW Tag Team Championships. Now, that was really, really stupid. 8 months of build-up to this one. Steiners won the number one, the NOC, I always rate it, the number 1 contendership last time out at Bash at the Beach over Chono and the Great Muta. If you remember back to String Stampede, Kevin Nash defeated Rick Steiner to retain the belts. Scott Hall had no-showed. Scott Steiner was allegedly arrested before that. Furthermore, if you go back to Sold Out of 1997, the Steiners won the championship that night, but then they were given the belt the the Outsiders gave him the belt back the next night on a technicality or something. I think it was that the referee was fired, something like that. You know, so it was a legal referee. I don't know. Whatever. I can't remember. Sold out. I did the review 2 years ago, for fuck's sake. I've just, just got a memory that I remember that happened. I can't remember why it happened though. So, yeah, so basically 8 months, 8 long months, we've been wanting a team to take the belts off the Outsiders. I don't give a shit who it is, anyone, but if it's going to be anyone, why not the Steiner brothers? They're seen as the WCW homegrown boys. They're like Sting and Lex Luger, even though both the Steiners and Lex Luger have been to the WWF. They are seen as true WCW guys who believe in WCW, who we're going to win because of WCW. Let's put it this way, it goes to the point where when this match starts, you know one thing, and that is that Kevin Nash is going to take no bumps. Sorry, no. You know one thing, and that is that the Steiner brothers are going to leave this match with the title belts around their waist. It's just a fact. Speaking of Kevin Nash, though, how many bumps do you think he's going to take? I'm going to go with my standard 3. So, match starts off, guess what happens? Yeah, that's right, Nash gets belly-to-belly suplex. There's one. and then, for the rest of the match, it's Scott Steiner getting the shit kicked out of him. He plays pace in peril, something wrong, gets choke slammed by Hall, gets followed slammed by Hall. Something I need to point out, this is an important detail in this one. I've been reliably informed, this show has never been released on VHS in America. So I'm going to assume that the copy that I bought, which I'm watching on a torrent, of course, from a 1997 pack, right? So I'm going to guess that the version that I'm watching was recorded from TV, because it will explain why halfway through this match it flicks over onto an American football game where it's San Francisco 14, Seattle 0. Just so you know, there we go, that's a nice little thing. Scott continues to get owned, abdominal stretch for a long time. When he escapes, the first thing he does, right, he knocks Scott Hall down, bounces off the ropes, comes for an elbow drop, misses, carries on getting beat. Brilliant. Can't go wrong with that, you really can't. It's all designed for the hot tag. The hot tag to Rick. Rick will come in, he will clean house, we're going to have new champions. Just you fucking watch, here we go. So Rick gets the tag. I say a tag. It's not a hot tag. Crowd don't really go, fucking yes, go get him, Rick. No, and they're still about this one. They don't build to it. Even though Scott's getting the shit kicked out of him here, they don't actually build towards the hot tag like you would normally see and expect to see in a tag team match. Oh, suplex for Hall, suplex for Nash, there's 2. And then it all goes wrong. And then it all goes wrong in this match. This match has been good until this point, and I was enjoying it quite a bit, right? But the thing is, the Steiners go for and connect with a doomsday device bulldog sort of thing. You know, Scott gets him up on his shoulders, Rick does a bulldog on him, happy days. And then, 1, 2, referee gets pulled out by Kevin Nash. Referee Nick Patrick goes, what the fuck? Disqualifies him. And you're sat there going, you're feeling so deflated. You know, I don't believe this. I do not believe it. The brothers celebrate that they've won the belt. They've heard the bell go, we must have done it. You know, until manager Ted DiBiase has to point out to them, like, guys, you haven't. And of course, they're vexed after that. It would take another 2 months for them to get the championship. October the 13th, the Steiner brothers, get this, you'll like this. This is WCW booking at its finest. On October the 13th episode of Nitro, they defeated Scott Hall and Syxx to win the belts. That's right, Syxx. Kevin Nash was injured, so Kevin Nash never actually lost the belt. Fucking awful stuff. That's WCW 3, NWO 2. This was horrible, man. This ending was so poor. I mean, I was enjoying the match, even if it was a bit of a weird dynamic, because like I say, normally you expect the crowd to be fucking thunderous, waiting for that hot tag, waiting for the tag to Rick, and when he comes in, everyone cleans the house and everyone goes, crowd goes crazy. Crowd went mild, to say the least, when he got the hot tag. And finally, in our main event, Hulk Hogan defeating Lex Luger to win the WCW Championship. In our only dud of the night, I must say that. So, first things first, let's talk about Buffer. Buffer calls it hog wild because he's a fucking pro, isn't he? Secondly, though, the thing more importantly than that is that Buffer is in his white tie get-up. He looks really smart until about here, in which case from here he's got a leather biker's cap on, and it just makes, well, there's no way around this, he makes him look gay. Really gay, really, really gay. Okay, just throwing that one out. Anyway, so Tony says, Tony Schiavone, who, he's starting to become as a commentator, he's starting to become my fucking hero. Honest. No. He says that these two men in the ring are the biggest superstars in wrestling today. So, not only is that a fuck you to all the other people in the other companies, Shawn Michaels, for example, Bret Hart, Undertaker, some guy called Steve Austin who will never amount to anything, right? But does that one also fuck over your greatest star, which of course is Sting? Does it not, Tony? No, never mind. Anyway, so let me tell you though, this match, right, is so long and it's so dull because it's just Hogan either stalling or using illegal means for 15 minutes. And I've got to say, but I said this while I was watching this out loud to my missus. I said, anyone who's ever sells the back rake from Hogan should just be fired from wrestling. I can't understand how doing that is a devastating move. Even if you've got long nails, might hurt a little bit. It's not the God the pain sort of selling that you have to do off a back rake. No. So Luger gets his second wind, I suppose is the best way of putting it. Starts making his comeback. He's done a couple of forearms when the NWO come running out. Hooray. Lex fights them off, yeah. Starts coming up for clotheslines to Hogan. When who's out there but Sting whacks Lex Luger with his baseball bat. One atomic leg drop. Later, we've got a fantastic new champion because Hogan couldn't bear to be without his championship for 5 whole nights. OMG, ladies and gentlemen, that was Road Wild and that was wank. I mean, you know me, if a show is average, I'll give it an average rating. This, while wasn't bad, I've got to keep stressing that there was only that one match that was really bad, like a bad match. The problem that they had, all these matches on this show, was that they were boring. They were just boring matches. And no matter how much that they shilled that it was WCW versus NWO, I still didn't care because I still just expected the NWO to win. Now on the night, it was actually 3-3. Happy days moving forward. Don't forget, we've got Fall Brawl next time. War Games, happy days. First ever War Games review I'm going to be able to do. Happy days, you know. Which is going to be NWO versus WCW because, of course, after tonight, they left, didn't you? But I'm still sat the whole show going, man, NWO are going to win. They always do. The NWO is a year old now, and already it's starting to feel very, very, like, been there, done that. Don't care about all these beatdowns anymore. Because, and of course, there's the fact they never lose. They never, ever lose. And, you know, I mean, all right, they lost 3 times here tonight, but do you notice that their losses were in the opening matches? In the big 2 matches, who won? NWO and NWO. What do you do? You know, I mean, 2 out of 10 if I'm nice, if I'm really, really nice, but closer to 1. Well, let's say 1.5. 1.5 out of 10. Do not go out of your way to see this one. If you haven't seen it, trust me, there's nothing to see on this show at all, whatsoever. I'm sorry I haven't been able to do you a ECW review as part of this series. I will try and slot it in somewhere maybe if I get time. I've been Mark P. I would love to know what you thought of Road Wild 1997 down below. If you saw it, let me know, that'd be nice. I know I get a lot of flack because of how much shit I give WCW, but I genuinely feel that it is fully deserved. And shows like this deserve your hate. It's that simple. I've been Mark P. My next one will be a show. We'll probably do Fall Brawl because I'm actually excited about doing that War Games match. I've been Mark P. Let me know what you think down below. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I will see you all very soon. Thank you all very much for watching. Take it easy, guys.